Whoa, heyo, how's it going? Welcome, guys, to how to make a fist. Now, I made this video like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know. It was like basically when I first started my channel, and I was like, what should I make a video about? I don't even know. And I watched like a couple guys talking about how to make a fist, and I realized that people don't even know how to make a fist. So I made a video that I thought no one could disagree with because it's so simple. How to make a fist. Apparently, I was wrong. Apparently, everybody thinks there's a different way to make a good fist. I've heard some crazy stuff. I've seen some comments on this video. I don't even know, guys. I mean, we're just gonna do it again. We're just gonna do a how to make a fist, and we're gonna review the way we did it, and we're gonna talk about why we do it that way. So in the video that we did, we pretty much just said how to make a fist, and we showed a hand, and we said take your hand and roll first your knuckles down to here, like this, and then roll them all together. So there's like a pencil. Basically, it's like a thumbs up. Like a thumbs up, and your thumb comes across these first two knuckles. And that was how we made a fist in the how to make a fist video. I made sure to point out that you want to almost imagine like a piece of straw going all the way through right here. There's a little bit of space there, and then you kind of seal it with your thumb. And then people literally were saying like, dude, your thumb should go right here for your punches. Like, you guys are kidding me, right? Like, who puts their thumb right here when they punch? Does that make any sense to anybody? I think you'd break your thumb. I saw some other crazy things. I don't even remember what they said. But basically in the video I said how to make a fist is really simple. I basically said take your hand like this, roll it together, and take the thumb over these two fingers. And then I said you want to line your punch up with your first two knuckles. So basically if you looked down your arm, oh wait, turn this. So basically if you looked down your arm, you know, you would see basically the two knuckles line up with your shoulder, and so that's a straight line. You don't want to punch with like your pinky knuckle. You'd probably just shatter your pinky. And so I was telling people like, yeah, you punch with these two knuckles, it's pretty chill. Build up your punches, and these two knuckles are the contact points. And someone was like, blah, 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 you're gonna break your fist. So I thought like, that's interesting. First off, if you're punching something hard enough to break your fist, don't punch that. Like, what's the deal here, guys? If you have not been doing knuckle conditioning and like fist strengthening exercises for years, don't punch something harder than your fist. Seems like a basic thing here. So most of the time people practice punching on a punching bag. You get a bag and you punch it a bunch, and it builds up your punch strength. It builds up your hand conditioning points. And then as you notice, when I'm punching a flat surface, you know, I can only punch on this flat surface like this. So people, you know, obviously the contact point is all of my fist. My entire fist is the contact point. So my entire fist being the contact point on a punching bag makes sense, right? Because it's a flat surface that I'm going to punch. And you build up your punch strength with consistency and dedication to punching a heavy bag, and you can build up and get stronger. Now, what if I'm punching something that's not a flat surface? Like, what if I'm going to punch a board? And most people are like, well, you don't punch boards, you chop boards. Okay, good point. You know, what if I'm going to punch a person? If I punch a person, first let's think about the idea that we're forcing more force, more inertia into a blow when we consolidate its contact point. So like, think about a nail. A nail can penetrate wood when it's hammered in the back of it because it's at a point, because there's a small point that all of the force can enter into at one place. So if the nail was flat, like if you had a flat nail and you tried to hammer it into something, how well would that work? Not very well. So the idea of punching with these two lead knuckles, other than like it being flat, if you're not punching something flat, like say you're punching someone and you want to knock them out and you're like aiming for this point right here on the chin, or like this point right here, or like say you're aiming for like some specific like spot on the shoulder right here when you're punching, you're gonna aim and put more effort into these two knuckles. So again, if you're punching something that's hard enough to break your hand, don't do that. It's not a good plan. If you're making a fist and punching things that are harder than your fist, you're gonna hurt yourself. That's just the way it is. Most things you punch are soft bags or heavy bags, or you could build up to punching like bricks. You know, like I've seen Jackie Chan shatter a couple bricks, but he's holding an egg. And the reason he's doing that is to demonstrate that he's not squeezing his fist so crazy tight and exerting all this force in his fist. His fist is just a solid mass, and he's pushing it through things. And he's doing it so softly he can keep an egg in his palm and it doesn't break. I'll clip that video in here too. So as you can see, he's holding an egg and he's smashing down, right? He's smashing down as he's breaking these bricks. So that's another thing to think about. Like, whenever I say how to make a fist, it's really just the general concept of how to form your hand into a safe ball so you can hit things safely. So like Jackie Chan's hitting the eggs like this. He's hitting it like a hammer fist down. He's like hammer fisting down. You can punch on the top of the knuckle like this. There's a back fist, you know, like if you're gonna back fist someone, it's the back of the fist. Right? So most of these have a pretty big surface area. The surface area for the back fist and for the hammer fist is pretty big. And for the most part, you can see those used a lot. But to a certain point too, even this front fist, the whole flat surface area, you know, being contacted on a face, that's pretty common. But out of all of the surface, if you were to look at the whole flat surface of the hand hitting something, you can kind of think of it like the head of a nail. If the head of the nail is square, then it's just gonna, you know, square up and hit right even with your target. But if you angle into these two knuckles, then you can hit the flat surface and push more force into these two knuckles, into these lead two knuckles, which basically changes the way you can penetrate your target. There's less surface area, more force. So it's a paradox in a sense. Like, how strong is your fist? How knowledgeable are you of the point you're trying to hit? And how hard is the surface you're hitting? These are things you should consider when you're thinking about how to make a fist. How to make a fist is pretty basic. I saw some people talking all kinds of crazy ways about making fists, a bunch of ways of like your thumb over here, and people were saying like do it like this. Like, if you're making fists like this, please tell me in the video how this makes any sense. Like, if I punch something, there's no force. My hand just smushes, right? I don't have a solid force. If my thumb's right here and I punch something, my thumb catches, I break my thumb, right? So what's this? What is that? I don't even know what that is. I would say put the knuckles in, roll it like you have a piece of straw right between your knuckles, and then close the thumb over, and that's it. And then, you know, when you're punching, if the thumb catches a little bit, if the thumb catches a little bit, you know, maybe it happens. Either way, you can hurt yourself. If you're punching something really hard, even with the lead two knuckles, even if you miss and hit like the pink, if you hit correctly, you could still injure yourself. So that's why people have heavy bags. That's why you have a bag. That's why you punch a bag, okay? You punch it forever. You just practice punching the bag forever. If you can't punch a heavy bag without getting bloody knuckles, do that. Just punch the heavy bag till your knuckles build up consistency, till your knuckles build up the conditioning to be able to do that. Again, I didn't think this needed that much explaining, but here we are. How to make a fist, guys. How to make a fist. Again, I'm not sure what this is. I don't know. My fingernails need to be clipped, but either way, what is this? that is not a fist. If anybody thinks this is a fist, tell me where you learned this from. Please. I'd love to know. So again, I feel like this is way over explaining something, but the fist concept is obviously important for martial arts, but imagine maybe taking the fist out of it. Like Boss Rutan always does strikes, the palm strike, right? He's always doing palm strikes like this, like blow. Because what does it do? It takes away any injury. It takes away any possible injury because you're striking with anatomical congruency, right? Like your forearm is right in line with that point. So there's not a lot of injury that can happen there. If you condition your palm to hit a hard surface, that's pretty legit. I like the Boss Rutan open palm technique. It's easy to avoid injury. So if you're one of the people that's like watching this video and you don't have an opinion about a fist and you're like, I don't know, just you can practice open palming. It's pretty easy to train just like a fist. You just find a hard bag and you literally just hit the hard bag a bunch of times with your open palm. It builds up the conditioning of that strike point, and eventually you can hit harder and harder things with more force, and it conditions your palm to do so. Again, if you're working on your fist, maybe you just make a couple fist variations and punch some heavy bags and see how that works for you. I mean, maybe you'll discover a new fisting technique, that people around the world will love. Again, this is only something that I was taught this is how I was taught to do it. This is, again, to take with a grain of salt. Tell me what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about this fisting video. Go watch the other one that people were watching and talking about too. I thought it'd be super simple, but it's a short video, really quick. This one we break it down a little bit more. Why these 2 points? Because it's a smaller contact surface, more force for the punch. Can you punch with the whole flat face of the fist? Yes, you can. It's also depends on what you're punching, I suppose. Like if I was going to punch a hole in something, like if I wanted to punch a hole in a watermelon or something, I would probably lead with those 2 knuckles because I know the knuckles are going to penetrate the watermelon better and help me break into the watermelon. If I punched with the whole flat surface, it'd be harder for me to break through the outer layer of that watermelon. So this is why I think it's important to think about what we're asking to. Like, there's not always just a simple absolute answer. There's not always just like this way is the right way forever because blah blah blah. Sometimes it's this way unless it's like this, which means that there's no absolutes. It means that every time you're going to use your fist, you got to use your brain first. So don't just be a dumb warrior, be a scholar. So take that into consideration. Think with your brain, guys. Another thing that I was taught before I leave you is to always take an opportunity to avoid a fight. So if you're looking at how to make a fist and you're thinking like, I'm gonna be a fighter, maybe practice communication skills first. Practice using your mind to diffuse a situation before you practice using your fists. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Like, subscribe, comment. See you next time.
Brought to you by